D, wait for it, delightful.
Check out the name tag. You're in my world now, Grandma.
What's up, nerds? So, in case you haven't checked it, in case you didn't see the thumbnail, this is my Boba Fett, the Book of Boba Fett Season 1 review. I know this is a little bit late, but I had to sit down and rewatch the series just because I had to collect all my thoughts from everything. And I just want to say that before I get started, I just want to say that if you like what I do here and you enjoy independent content here on YouTube, please consider subscribing to my channel. YouTube is always changing up their algorithm, and small channels like mine, we always get shoved to the back of the line. So I please ask that you like, share, and subscribe, and I thank you in advance. All right, so let's get started on this. Creatively, I thought that the Book of Boba Fett would be very strong with an established character that fans know, sort of, and love. As I've said before, he's my favorite character. I've loved Boba Fett since, since he appeared in Empire Strikes Back. I've been fascinated with him, and I just love this character. But from a business perspective, it was weak. I think that this has to do a little bit with the Mandalorian controversy. And I did a video on that, and I'll leave it in the iCard section. But just to explain a little bit, YouTuber Grace Randolph put out a video where she gave a scoop. And Pedro Pascal became very difficult on set of Mandalorian season 2. He wanted to take off his helmet. They said no. He constantly was taking it off in the middle of scenes without permission and messing up his lines, and he became a problem. He then complained to the higher ups, and that was the last straw. And he said, they were just like, you need to leave. They did figure out a way to go about it. They took off his helmet and everything. And while they were doing that, all this was going down. They were like, what are we going to do for season 3 of The Mandalorian? And I think that that's where this came in. Because if you look at season 2, that last scene from The Mandalorian, it seems like an ending to the show. If this is the ending, then this is the ending. So I think that they wrote up the Book of Boba Fett. They were like, we're going to do the Book of Boba Fett. Because we can't start shooting season 3 right away like we wanted to because of that. And then they got Pedro Pascal to come back and everything. And then they came up with a way where for Pedro Pascal to be on the show where he's going to do just voiceover work. And then his stunt double will be wearing the costume, which is what happened in this season of the Book of Boba Fett, which I think all of this is true. This rumor is true. Pedro Pascal seems like a very childish man when it comes to that. Actors are that way. I think that they throw fits over stuff that's so dumb. But he's also the star of the Last of Us, which never before has anybody been the star of 2 shows at the same time, especially shows for 2 different studios. That's for HBO Max. Now, that being said, that little controversy, there's more to it. Check out that video if you feel the need to. You don't have to, though. It's fine. Whatever. So in this review, I'm going to go over things that I did, that they did that I liked, things I really liked, and things I didn't like, and then things that I think they could have / should have done for this to be a better success. So the first thing I want to touch on is the things that I like. First off, Fennec Shand. I thought Fennec Shand was a good number 2, but she was more like a number 1 because Fennec came up with everything. She came up with all of his plans and everything. She, did all this stuff and everything. She was basically the boss. She told Boba what he needed to hear, but privately. I think that was good. I mean, you need that in number 2. It's like I always tell my wife, because she's my partner. I always tell her that if you're ever in an argument with somebody in public, I'm on your side no matter what. I will totally go to bat for you. But in private, I'll be like, hey, you were wrong, just so you know. But so I think that's good. One thing I don't like with Fennec Shand is her mods. I don't like her mods. I don't like mods on anybody. I know that it is Star Wars canon for people to have robotic modifications and everything. Luke had his arm or it had his hand. Vader's whole body is a mod. And then we got Echo in the Bad Batch just the Bad Batch. I think it was the Clone Wars. He was in the Clone Wars too with his little cybernetic thingy or whatnot. And I don't mind it there, but in here they just go too far, especially with the mods, the biker gang, which I want to talk about later. They are not in my likes. Anyways, the next thing that I really like was Garza Fwip. Now, this is Jennifer Beals Twi'lek character. She owns Sanctuary, that club slash bar, which I really like this character. And I thought that they did her dirty. You know, she just blows up, right before the big battle and everything. And I was like, you know what? We really didn't get a chance to know this character, her story, what was going on with the club, all that stuff. And I think, she was just there for eye candy, which I was kind of bummed about. Another thing I liked was in episode 1 or 2. I can't remember off the top of my head. I think it was episode 1, was the parkour rooftop chase. I really liked that a lot. Hardcore parkour. I really liked that a lot. I thought it was fun. I really just thought, it was good to have that, it was in a James Bond movie. It, was huge during, what was like the early 2000s or whatnot. And I really liked it a lot. It was super fun. And it showed, again, Fennec's, abilities, the fact that she chased him down parkour style, and then she killed one of them, because you only need one person to deliver a message. The next thing that I liked is when Boba Fett mows down that biker gang. Boom. When he goes through the desert, first off, my first thoughts was like, this is so awesome. Like when the one looks back and they're all like, what's going on? And then he just comes in and just kills all of them. It was so good. I loved it. He just mows them down. And then I also liked, finally he had killed somebody, and the way that the speeders explode, and then just the look on his face, he's all like, and then he shoots the missile at that last one, the leader bike and everything. It was so good. And then the slave one just flies off into the distance. It was fantastic. I really, really liked it a lot. And the last thing on my likes list was Mando Din Djarin. I liked him coming back, and I'll address this later on in this review, but I liked him coming back. I like the fact that they addressed the taking off the helmet thing, which I left in there. Now, yes, he probably won't take off his helmet, and that's how it'll probably be for season 3 of The Mandalorian. Maybe he'll take it off just the once right before he bathes himself in the waters of Mandalore. And then Grogu. I really liked seeing Grogu again, although it's kind of a dislike also. I wish we would move on from Grogu. I didn't care for the fact that I think that when it comes to the Mandalorian Djarin and that whole thing, I thought we had wrapped up the Grogu storyline, and I really wish that they would have kept to that. But it's very obvious that Baby Yoda is a selling point, and they are not going to go away from that anytime soon. That might be a Lucasfilm call more than a Favreau call. I don't know. I don't know anything behind the scenes stuff. So I want to talk about the stuff I really liked in this show. I really liked the Ray Harryhausen aesthetic that they put in with the two monsters, the sand monster in episode 1. I really loved it. I loved that it wasn't stop motion, that it was all computer generated, but it felt stop motion. I really liked that. Like I said, the Harryhausen aesthetic. And then also with the Rancor in that last fight, when he gets up on the tower and it's very Godzilla-like and everything. I mean, not Godzilla, King Kong-like. I really liked that a lot. I felt, again, it was very Harryhausen aesthetic-wise with that whole stop motion thing. And I just thought especially that sand monster, I thought it had a great look, and just the way that it walked on the sand and everything and moved and everything. It was very cool, and I liked it a lot. Also, I really like that train heist in episode 2. The Sand People, I really didn't care. I'll talk about it later, but I really didn't care for the flashbacks, but I did like that train heist sequence. It was very cool. This show really leaned on the Western, and I really don't care for Westerns, but I do like this sci-fi Western thing going on here. And that train heist with the robot speeding up every now and then the super ninja sand person was really really fun. Also, in the really liked category that I have, I really liked all the cameos in this show. As soon as something popped up, I was like, that's great. The first one was the Max Rebo band. Max Rebo, now I thought he blew up in the sailing barge, which he probably should have, and he died. And I didn't see him in that episode before the Sanctuary blew up. So I have a feeling Max Rebo will be back. But it was really fun to see Max Rebo again. From a fan standpoint, I always loved that scene from Return of the Jedi. And I loved it here also, just seeing him play his little keyboard with his little fat sausage fingers. Next, Chrysanthemum Black, or Black Chrysanthemum. Sandy, we'll just call him Sandy for this. I really thought that this was a great, like he just, okay. So he's really incredibly well realized from the comics. Now he's from Darth Vader #1, which I went back and I own that one because I own some of those Darth Vader comic books. They're not too bad, those Darth Vader comic books. If you get a chance to find them and read them, I suggest doing it. It's really cool. He's got like a robot companion kind of thing, but he shows up with Boba Fett, and he's a gladiator, and I really hope that they show that. That'd be really cool if they did. I don't think they will, but it'd be really cool if they did show that. But like I said before, he's just really well realized jumping off of the comic books onto the screen. Like as soon as he popped up, I was like, ooh, and everything. And I was like, I've seen him before. And I looked him up, I Googled him. And then I went and I was like, oh my God, I own those comic books. I own a handful of those. Then the big ones, Luke Skywalker showing up was so great. I loved seeing it. I'm sad that they are continuing with the sequel trilogy. I know I've got my hopes up that they'll retcon it, but I know they won't retcon it. But I really wish they would, because the sequel trilogy is garbage. But seeing Luke Skywalker again was really great, and the special effects on him were really good. They're really doing good with the de-aging process, and just. I love it so much. I know a lot of people like myself would wish they would just recast a younger Luke Skywalker. Sebastian Stan is just right there. And the trilogy, I'm very much of the opinion that you don't own a character just because you played it and you played it well and it's so iconic. But yeah, I just wish that they don't have to do special effects. They don't have to waste all that money. They can just pay an actor. But also, I really liked seeing the stuff that he did with Baby Yoda, kind of mirroring that training process that he had with Yoda. I thought that he also gave some good advice while training, and I just really liked seeing Luke. I know a lot of these newbies to Star Wars, these people that don't know shit about Star Wars, like to come in and change my fandom. But Luke is great, and keeping him around was really a smart idea, in my opinion. The next one, Ahsoka. I love seeing Ahsoka again. Can't get enough of Ahsoka. I can't wait to see her series. I don't really know when she was talking about with Luke Skywalker and all and Baby Yoda and his attachments, because she had attachments and she left the Jedi Order. So I'm all like, I really don't know, but at the same time, can't get enough Ahsoka. She was great, and I really just love seeing her. Cab Vanth, seeing him was really great. I really loved seeing his character return. Timothy Oliphant is just so great. I don't like the fact that they put him, he's going to have mods now. I think this show, all of a sudden the mods became the thing, and I don't like it at all. Just because it's there doesn't, and plus I don't think he had, like, when it comes to Fennec Shand, she had an injury that was so big that she needed the mods, but I don't think Cav Vanth needed the mods. Like, he got shot in the shoulder. And it's like, whatever. I don't know, man. Maybe whatever. And plus he was in that Bantha tank. And remember when Luke was in the Bantha tank and he got hurt and it was just healing him up from the wound of the lightsaber or whatnot? Was it the lightsaber? Yeah, it was healing him up. So I don't understand why he would need the mods, with that Bantha tank. And the last one I'll talk about is Cad Bane. What a great character coming off of the Clone Wars TV show into live action. I mean, he was so spooky, but so good when he was coming out of the desert, all Lone Ranger kind of like, and then he just showed up and he's all like, so well realized from animation to live action. It was so good. Same thing with Ahsoka. They start off in live animation and then they come to live action. It's so good. It's so good. I love that they're doing this. They're bringing in characters that we know and love to live action. It's so great. So now I want to talk about the dislikes that I didn't like this show. And the first one I want to talk about is Boba Fett. Boba Fett is a horrible crime boss in this. I know that they want to do the Sopranos kind of thing, but he didn't really kill anyone. And he was a bad boss. Like, he went to that when that guy came to him about the mod gang, the mod gang about the water, he he sided with the mod gang, and he's all like, you're charging too much for water. And I'm all like, hey, you're a crime boss. Your job is to make money off of the small folk. This is not how the Sopranos would act. These are not how mob bosses would act. The Godfather would never, Don Corleone would never go do stuff himself. And he's not acting like a good crime boss. He's a horrible crime boss, just the worst and everything. And I think that they didn't realize that better. I also don't like his Depeche Mode like hallucinations when he's in his bantha tank. I didn't care for the flashbacks as much, except for that taking out the flashback of him taking out the biker gang, and then the train heist was cool. But like when we got that, okay, so we got that memory of him as a little boy on Camino, and I thought that would play a bigger part later on in the show, and it did. They just dropped it off like a sack of beans, and I'm all like, okay, I mean, like whatever, but that was weird. And then you got that water, that tree with the water splashing thing. Literally, when that thing came on, I totally thought we'd hear Enigma's that sa demois. No, that song. I thought that song was going to come on, or a Depeche Mode song. I was like, what's going on here? This is just I know it's a hallucination, but what are we watching right now? It's so weird. Now I want to talk about the thing that I hate the most on this show, and that's the mods. That little Vespa gang. They're stupid. I hate them. I think that they were trying to go for the Niall from the High Republic, and I just thought they were just so stupid. They were so dumb. They were so stupid. Their mods were dumb. Everything about them was just dumb. I didn't like the actors that played them. I didn't like their characters. I didn't like their Vespas. I didn't like anything about them. They were useless in my opinion, except for just to be there and for fodder. But those two main ones should have been killed because they were useless also. They're just riding around like some rich kids on their little Vespas in Orange County, California, all like, hey guys, hey, fighting for the little man. I went to, a private school and everything. You're just like, get out of here, I hated them. I have nothing nice to say about them. Like when they were chasing that speeder through Mos Espa, that was the worst speed chase that I've ever seen. It was slow as all get out. It wasn't fun at all. It didn't feel like these characters do not feel like Star Wars to me. Nothing about them when they're on screen feels Star Wars to me. I wasn't feeling it at all. Every time they were on screen, I hated them. I hated it. It was stupid. Never show up again anywhere else. Nobody likes you. Nobody likes this mod biker gang. Nobody likes this Vespa gang. Nobody. And if you do, I don't get you. Star Wars isn't for you if you liked this gang. It's not for you. Next thing. I hate to say this, but Danny Trejo and his Rancor teachings. Like, I love Danny Trejo. He's great. But when he showed up with that Rancor and he's like, the Rancors, they imprint on the first person they seen, they're misunderstood creatures. No, they're not. They're not misunderstood creatures. They are hardcore badass creatures. They will eat you just because they feel like it. And I do not understand this whole, the Rancors are your best friends. They're like a puppet dog, just really, really big. It's like so stupid. I'm all like, I don't get it and I don't like it, but whatever. Now, although I do like the Naboo starfighter, it was no substitute for the Razor Crest. I love the Naboo starfighter. It's my favorite starfighter in the Star Wars universe, but I don't like that they traded in the Razor Crest for that. The Razor Crest was like an RV, a space RV, kind of like Spaceballs. But in this one, now I'm like, how does he become a bounty hunter now that he has just a starfighter with little baby Yoda up atop? I just don't understand how he would have to take him dead. He'd have to get him dead. He'd just take the head like he did in that one in episode 5. He couldn't take a whole body. I don't know how he'd get it there, And the last thing that I want to talk about in this is the season finale. I didn't like the season finale. I thought that it was so long, first off, and I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. I thought that it wasn't that it was overwhelmingly bad. It's just, first off, I go, what's going on here? Like there's this huge attack and everything, and then they didn't use like logistics when it came to stuff like that. Like for instance, when Fennec Shand, and I'm going to throw up a map on the thing, when Fennec Shand goes from Mos Espa to Mos Eisley, it is so far away. Okay, so right here, I got a thing of the map of Tatooine, of the area that we're talking about. So if you look up here, here's Mos Espa right here. Okay, here is Mos Eisley right over here. Okay, so she had to travel so long to get to Mos Eisley to stop the Pikes, the Pike leader, and the other leaders of the ruling houses of Mos Espa. That is such a long way to go that I don't think she would have made it in time. And she had that stop where she stopped to help the mods out to get them over to the club that they were at. It was so stupid. And then here's Mos Espa, and then here's Jabba's palace right here. If you guys just look right here on this map, okay, look how far in 5 minutes of the show Boba Fett had to go from here to Jabba's palace, way over here in these little canyons and everything. He had to travel so far, so he had to go like all through here, all around here, and then here. Now maybe he could use his jetpack a little bit of the ways, but I don't think there's enough fuel in that to get all the way over there. And plus, he had used some during the fight. And then he had to get on the Rancor and travel all the way back to Mos Espa. Logistically, it's just not possible. If you look at, I didn't figure out the kilometers / miles situation going on here, but it's just too far. I can tell you from this, and why didn't he grab the Slave One? Why did he grab the Rancor? That part I don't understand also. Why would you grab the Rancor, which is not only slow, when you can grab your Slave One, bring that all the way back to Mos Espa? You'd get there faster, and you'd have air support for your peoples. And it would take out way more. It would take out the bad guys and those robots and not destroy as much of the city as the Rancor did when he went all King Kong and everything. So I think that was also not realized. So I just didn't care for the season finale. It just wasn't that great. Now, here's some things that I feel like they should have done. I think that they should have had a hook after the first episode, kind of like the Mandalorian did with Grogu. You remember that was like a huge surprise, even during the Comic-Con, or maybe it was the Star Wars event. They didn't show the last half of episode 1 of the Mandalorian because they wanted to keep Grogu a secret. And a secret they did, because they didn't even have merchandise ready for it. People had to make fan merchandise and everything on Etsy and stuff. They just wanted to keep it such a secret, and it was a great secret. That I feel like Boba Fett should have had something like that in the first episode, and they didn't. And I feel like maybe that might have hurt it, because people this needs to be must-watch TV every episode, and I don't think that it was. Especially after episode 3 with that stupid mod biker gang. They're so stupid. The next thing I want to talk about is that they should have maybe done, but I don't know if it would have helped. And we'll talk about that in just a sec. But there were rumored cameos, 3 of them to be exact. What kind of 3? Rumored was Emilia Clarke was going to show up, and Han and Chewie. Now, I also heard that Luke and Leia might have shown up, and they finally would have gotten the 3 together, but I heard they ixnayed that because they wanted to save that for a bigger project, possibly a movie. But they were going to de-age all of them and have stand-ins for Carrie Fisher. God rest her soul. So Emilia Clarke, I felt like really would have been a good addition to this also. I thought that, and Han Solo and Chewie. I don't know if it would have saved the show, but a small piece of me feels like if you would have had Emilia Clarke just as a cameo in that episode 1, that probably would have gone a long way towards the fandom. I know that movie Han or Solo sucks. It's not a very good movie, but I think that still just bringing back characters like that, I think would have been a good idea. Han and Chewie would have been great to see them on screen again, but I don't know if it would have helped. Now, here's some cameos that I think that they absolutely should have done, and I think that it would have went a long ways. The first one is the clones. You've got Tamara Morrison there. have him play up the clone, see what he can do acting wise. I mean, yeah, he's being Boba Fett, which is a clone also, but put in Rex, or one of the other ones. I think that it would have gone a long way towards the fandom, and we would have got to see those characters brought from animation to live action also, and see if that would have been realized as well. It also could have been a great help towards that last battle when they were trying to gather up foot soldiers. You've got some clones who are foot soldiers that know how to fight, and I think that it would have gone a long way towards the fandom also. Another one would have done towards those foot soldiers would have been the bounty hunters from The Empire Strikes Back. Forlom, Danger, even Bosk. You had a lot of Trailarians. I don't know how you say their name, but those lizard folk. You had a lot of them in this show. So I think that having Bosk on there wouldn't have been, a reach. I mean, you already got these people dressed up like them in the masks and stuff. You're telling me you couldn't have had a cameo from Bosk, or have him in there in that last episode, hired him up, or any of those other bounty hunters. You'd already had an IG character, whatnot. And then Danger, all you got to do is wrap a dude up in some bandages and stuff. And then for Alam, you've got to have a C-3PO outfit somewhere. And so I just throw the Forlom helmet on it, and you're good to go. Bada boom, bada bing, people. And the last one that I think really would have helped out for fans like myself is to have Gina Carano come back. I know she's probably never going to come back. I got that. I get it, but I think that really would have gone a long way for people like myself. I think that she's fantastic. She was fantastic on the show, and Disney did her wrong, and they fired her only because of her political opinions. And I think that that's wrong. Even if you don't agree with her, or what, I don't think that has anything to do with your performance on screen. And you can come at me if you want, but you won't change my mind. You're never going to change my mind. So I say, don't even try, but if you want to, by all means, I will listen, but, that's as far as it's going to go. You're not going to change my mind. I know you're not going to. I know myself well enough. So in conclusion, the fact that Boba wasn't in the best episodes of his own show is embarrassing. And it has really undercut his street creds with the fans. I don't think we'll get a Book of Boba Fett season 2. And frankly, I don't think we need one, because it's obvious he didn't have enough story for season 1. And that's not on Boba, but it speaks to the blundering mess of the way that this show was put together. And as I said before, I think it has to do with Pedro Pascal acting like a big man-child, and then trying to recover by doing a spin-off show that was this show. So you guys, that is my season 1 review for the Book of Boba Fett. Tell me, what did you guys think about this season? How did you feel about it? Did this bring down the character for you like it did me? I'm a huge fan of Boba Fett, not this Boba Fett. I will always remember him lovingly from the original trilogy, but this show really put a dent in my love for Boba Fett. Or did you absolutely love this show and there's nothing wrong with it, except for the fact that 5 episodes were this show, and then 2 of them were Mandalorian, the prequel to the Mandalorian season 3. But yeah, go ahead and tell me what you guys thought. Who was your favorite cameo? Which cameo would you have liked to have seen? And then what were your things that you really stuck out to you and you really loved it a lot? Go ahead and leave all your comments in that section down below. If you like this video, go and hit that like button. I won't mind. If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate it. I will see you guys on my next review. You guys have a good day. Bye.